and they had an earthquake somewhere in the world.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather, whether or not. There it is.
Well, hello there, Prince George and Winnipeg and Kamloops and viewers on Rogers Television and, of course, everyone who's here on the live stream on Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. This is the Comedeorological Report. It's your show about how much the weather sucks in Canada and beyond. Yes, we have your panel of cometeorologists here with the star of the show himself, Frankie McDonald, here to show up in about 60 seconds' time. Plus, the long-time co-host, Brandon Hauk, out there in Brooks, Alberta, who's on his week off. He's seen some electrical storms this week that blew his mind. We got storm chaser Hank Fleister with us from Wilkie, Saskatchewan, walking around out there. And I think we're going to see many more from our cometeorological panel show up. And if not, we'll make this up as we go. Because, there's just no real format to this show except for Frankie McDonald.
Frankie!
Who has the worst weather in the world, Frankie? How you doing so far, Frankie McDonald?
I'm doing great so far. They got the remnants of Debbie with a lot of rain heading towards Montreal Friday, where base guy's best friend Patrick Macca. He's getting his AKA Sky Universe. They're getting a lot of rain in Montreal tomorrow, where base guy and Pat Sky Universe is at. It was going to be really bad rainstorm in Montreal, where base guy and Pat lives. It's going to bring so much rain there. Heavy downpours where base guy lives. It's going to bring a whole lot of rain in Montreal, Ottawa, including Cornwall, Ontario, Kingston, Ontario, and those places. Cornwall, Ontario's getting a lot of rain from remnants of Debbie. And Quebec City's getting a lot of rain too. And I got something else to say. Getting a lot of rain in Montreal, Quebec, and Quebec City, and all those places. In interior eastern United States, like parts of interior New York, Pennsylvania, it's going to bring a whole lot of rain. Pennsylvania, interior New York, and all these places, it's going to bring a whole lot of rain in eastern Ontario, like Ottawa, Renfrew, Pembroke, and Perth, Ontario, Cornwall, Brockville, Kingston, Belleville, and Trenton, all those places going to bring a lot of rain. In Kanakwa, Ontario, as well. From remnants to Debbie's going to bring so much rain in eastern Ontario, Montreal, Quebec, including Blainville, Quebec, Laval, Quebec, South Shore, Quebec, Sherbrooke, Quebec, and Drummondville, Victoriaville, and all these places. And Granby, Quebec is getting a lot of rain there right now. It's really hot in Vancouver, British Columbia right now. It's really, really hot in the west coast of Canada, like Vancouver, Victoria, and all those places. It's really hot there right now. People in Vancouver, you can't escape from major earthquakes forever. In Seattle, Portland, Los Angeles, it's really hot down Texas right now. Where Trey Campbell he's currently doing stand-up comedy. And the next major holiday down the States is Labor Day, September 2nd. Lots of rain, thunderstorms going on in Central America right now. Down South America, lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in Venezuela, Colombia, Peru, northern Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia. And northern Chile is really, really dry right now. Lots of rain in the southern coastal areas in southern Chile, and the snow up in the mountains in southern Chile. It's really still pretty cold in southern Argentina. It's lots of rain coming off the south coast of Brazil right now. It's getting really hot in England right now, in Wales, Ireland, Scotland after the rain. Then it got hot weather heading for England next week. In Wales and Scotland and Ireland and all those places, it's going to bring some rain and really hot temperatures in southern England next week, including storm headed towards northwestern Scotland and Isle of Man. As north of Scotland bringing lots of rain there right now. And the next week as well. Then it got really hot weather for Paris 2024 closing ceremony of the Olympics. It's going to bring really hot weather in the nighttime in Paris for the closing ceremony of the Olympics. It's going to bring really hot weather in Paris, France. And it's going to bring some thunderstorms after the closing ceremony of the Olympics next week in eastern France. And it's going to hit Germany, Denmark, Netherlands, and rain and thunderstorms. The forecast is lots of rain heading towards also Norway on Friday, and Finland and Sweden and all those places right now. Do not travel to Iceland. If anybody lives in Iceland, be prepared for major volcano. It's really hot in Morocco, Libya, Algeria, and Egypt right now. It's really hot in Spain and Portugal right now. and Belarus is going to get some rain and the showers in the forecast, including Moscow, Russia, and all those places right now. Lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in China right now. There's a typhoon aiming towards Japan on Saturday and Sunday. There's a storm heading towards Japan and north of Tokyo. It's going to hit Sendai, Japan, and all those places. They got a storm heading towards Japan. Oh my God, in Japan, the typhoon's headed for there. And then they got another storm. And then it got some rain in the forecast in North Korea, 5 Vostok, Russia, southern China, lots of rain and thunderstorms in the forecast in southern China, including Vietnam, Laos, including Philippines, including Cambodia, Bangladesh, Myanmar, and all those countries as well. And Singapore and Malaysia and Thailand, lots of rain and thunderstorms in the forecast. Lots of thunderstorms and rain going on in India during monsoon season. Lots of rain in Sri Lanka during monsoon season as well. Then you get lots of thunderstorms and rain in southern Sudan and Ethiopia and all those countries right now. It's really hot in Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia and Syria and all those countries, United Arab Emirates. And there's lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in Nigeria and northern Nigeria and northern Ghana and all those places right now. Then they got some tropical waves coming off the coast of west coast of Africa too. And down in southern Africa, it's really, really hot in Namibia, including Angola. Then they got some rain and the showers in the south coast of South Africa right now. In Mozambique and Madagascar, La Reunion and Rentis Islands, a little bit of showers, but a really hot temperatures during dry season there right now. In Australia, it's really warm in Perth, Australia right now. Then they got cold temperatures. It's getting warmer in New South Wales, Australia gradually because their spring starts on September 22nd, same day as our first day of fall. It's really hot in northern Australia right now. Then it got some showers hitting the forecast in Perth, Australia and in southwestern Australia as for right now. Then it got some lots of cold temperatures in New Zealand right now. Then it got some snow up in the mountains and rain in the coastal areas of New Zealand. But temperature remains cold. Then it got some a little bit of dry weather early next week in New Zealand, but a little bit of warm temperatures in the forecast. And Antarctica is going to get some daylight soon, and up in the Arctic is going to get some darkness soon as well.
Excellent. How's your week been, Frankie?
My weekend is great so far.
Yeah? What did you do this week?
This week, what did I do this week?
Yeah, what did you do this week?
I went to karaoke and things like this. It went great.
Yeah, right on. See, you got 291,000 subscribers right now, so you're almost at that magical 300,000. That's really amazing, Frankie. You are fantastic. Just so you just have, if I haven't told you lately, good to see you.
It's going to get some darkness up in the Arctic soon too.
Yeah, it's about to be fall, meteorological fall in just a few weeks, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know who showed up is Justin from Brandon, Manitoba. We got Hank from Wilkie, Saskatchewan now. Helk is on the phone, so we don't have him right now. He's going to have to not take his usual second spot. Hank's been here the longest, though, so let's talk to Hank for a second. Hank, how's Wilkie, Saskatchewan tonight?
Oh, it's good. You know, we had smoke here, moved in yesterday, and I was surprised how quick it went from non-smoky to quite smoky.
Mark Ingalls is here too.
And then today it went away somewhere. It blew away. And there's basically no smoke to mention anymore today. So it's weird how that goes. You know, it always catches us by surprise for the most part. You'll see the smoke, and then you see a smoke advisory come in, you know, after you see smoke. Generally what happens.
Just state the obvious, eh?
Pretty much. You know, look out your window and you see smoke, and then you see, oh, the computer's also telling me there's smoke. I guess it's true then. I guess there really is smoke. You know? And when the air smells like smoke, turns out, wow, that's really wildfire smoke. after all, just like we thought it was. Yeah.
There's a lot of fires in
might get a-
Saskatchewan right now, isn't there? We didn't get the chance to. We should have looked at that while I had firms open earlier.
Northern Saskatchewan, I imagine. Around here,
Yeah,
there's
well,
not enough trees to burn, but up there in the north, we do have our share of trees.
yeah, it's a big province. It's got a big north, and people don't
Yeah,
realize Saskatchewan. It's pretty wild up there. Pretty Canadian Shieldy.
2/3 of it is pretty much wilderness and just woods and lakes and woods and lakes. A lot of it is the Canadian Shield, and I've never even been up to the Canadian Shield myself in Saskatchewan yet, believe it or not.
That's
I prefer to go out to the mountains, but yeah, I want to do a nice hike. There's some of them lakes have so many islands, like Lac La Ronge. There's like 1,000 islands in just that one lake. It's crazy. I don't know if it's exactly 1,000, but it's a ton of islands, and a lot of them are rocky. So looks like a nice place.
It's like the Thousand Islands in
Like
Ontario. They're like Sioux, Saskatchewan. You can't have 1,000 islands.
Here next week.
Right on, Hank.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Yeah, and no crazy storms the last week or two.
Well, in Alberta, I saw some in Alberta. Well, it was a big system, and it dumped a ton of hail on Calgary. And like, for instance, I have like maybe half dozen coworkers that live in Calgary myself, and it sounded like at least 4 out of those 6 had hail at their house. And it shows you how widespread that hail in Calgary was on the holiday Monday, civic holiday in Alberta.
It seems crazy to me, that
a crazy
we had
storm.
that $450 million hailstorm in Calgary in July 2010. I was in Calgary when it happened. It was awesome. And people are still building public things like an airport with
I found it out.
ceilings.
There was a heat wave up in Inuvik, Northwest Territories, Tatoyatuck, Northwest Territories, and North Coast Alaska, and Dawson, Yukon, Whitehorse, and all these places, in Watson Lake and Beaver Creek, Yukon, and around Fort McPherson, Northwest Territories, Inuvik, Northwest Territories, and Tatoyatuck. Really hot weather up north.
It's crazy how hot it's been up north,
crazy
isn't
hot.
it? It's the new normal. Which is my way of saying, told you so. Told you so. We also had Mark Ingalls show up, meteorologist Mark Ingalls. He's now living in Surrey, British Columbia. And I know he's got lots to talk about with our flood that happened this week, too. So, should we just go to Mark? Justin was here first, so I'm like trying to do the right thing.
Well, I'm going to be in and out tonight, so if that's okay, Justin.
Let's get it over with then. Tell us about. So
that's what my wife says to me.
The flood wasn't as bad as it could have been.
No, it was really good. We did not have a catastrophic failure. The water made it through on Thursday, and it did erode quite a bit. So there's quite a substantial canyon through that landslide scar, and kind of what we're going to look at here for over the next couple of years is we're going to see additional landslides as that slope is still unstable. I don't know if we'll completely dam the river again, but these landslides will be smaller because they'll be sourced from the new slope, the new canyon, rather than up the mountain. And so we'll kind of be watching for that. That stretch of the Chilcotin River there is going to be pretty sketchy for the next, probably a couple of decades. But that's just how it goes, and that's a pretty remote area anyway. As the water came down, it ended up, because we did not have a catastrophic failure, it was high-end, typical spring flow on the Fraser River. So no flooding on the Fraser. It did take out some ranch on the Chilcotin River, like
Pothole Ranch.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that, but I did see pictures. And so Pothole Ranch is gone, at least the little cabins they had on the river there. And they've got a catchment thing for debris near Chilliwack on the Fraser River. And that catchment basin, I saw a post from some minister of something or other saying that it caught 30,000 cubic meters of debris, which is about 1/3 of what that catchment thing catches in a year. So there's quite a bit of debris coming down. There's still some backup on the lake there behind the dam. The water is making it through. And then otherwise, talking about Calgary, you mentioned the airport. They were having airport delays because of the damage to the roof there in Calgary, like into the next day. That was pretty spectacular. I think they had golf ball sized hail in Calgary. And I saw one report of baseball sized hail somewhere in Alberta, but I don't know the geography of Alberta very well. And then in Cleveland yesterday, the day before yesterday, Cleveland had a derecho. 138 mile an hour wind gusts were recorded there in Cleveland. 360,000 people were without power. That was the highest number that I saw. That was the morning after, so it was probably quite a bit more. And 2 days, we're here 2 days after, what is it today, August 8th? There's still about 250,000 customers without power there in Northeast Ohio. Tropical storm Debbie is making its way northeast. Some power outages, but this is mostly a rain event. Pretty widespread flash flooding in North Carolina. And then it's going to pick up speed tomorrow being Friday and head off towards Frankie land into the weekend. So Frankie will get a little bit of rain out of Debbie.
I'm not getting hit by Debbie.
You're not?
Base guy is.
Okay. Well, Frankie knows better than I do. Sorry,
heading for base guy's hometown, Montreal. It's just shifted from my area to base guy's area.
All right. I got back from the gym, so I'm not totally in it. I rode the exercise bike and I did some squats and stuff trying to fix my knees. So that's pretty much all I have. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it, and then I got home, looked at the clock, and I was like, oh, I can check in. I'm really annoyed. Has anybody moved to British Columbia recently? It is so hard to get your car registered here. Like, yeah. I understand there are people who like.
You're better off to sell the thing and buy one in BC.
That's what I heard. But like, I bought this car for $2,500. It only has 104,000 miles on it. It's in pristine condition. I do not want to buy a new car, but I'm going to end up sinking so much money in it just to get it up to ICBC standards, and I'm so mad about it.
Now that you said that on a broadcast of some kind, your rates will go up.
I found it out. And as for
ICBC is always watching.
You're right. Even in my bank account here, I just got the fat check for pushing that agenda. It says here, HARP, climate change, whatever, in my bank account. No, I wish. If I was getting paid
you get yours from a federal program, I get mine from the province of British Columbia.
That's funny.
I'm not getting hit by Debbie.
You're not?
Base guy is.
Okay.
The remnants of Debbie is no longer going to hit me. Now it's going to hit base guy in Montreal.
Nice.
It's just in. Debbie is not hitting Frankie.
It's hitting base guy instead. I'm not getting hit by Debbie.
You're not?
Base guy is.
So that's what I have. It's good to see everybody, and yeah, I'm gonna go take a shower now.
Yeah, okay. And the only other thing I'd have to ask you about is big time thunderstorm pattern for British Columbia, and it's dry and fire's coming.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, we have some lightning going on.
According to that,
north of here.
I found it. According to one of the apps, Montreal's getting 105.2 millimeters of rain tomorrow.
105.2.
I want 105.2 millimeters of rain. That'd be nice. Yeah, so we've got some thunderstorms north of Abbotsford tonight up the mountain. There's a red flag warning on the Washington side of the border up by Mount Baker, east of Bellingham, for dry thunderstorms. So we'll see if we get some new fire starts. We've got it's kind of smoky here in Vancouver today, and it was quite a bit more smoky in Portland. I saw pictures. So we're getting your Saskatchewan smoke came over here, but I think we'll kick it out this weekend and have a pretty nice weekend here.
Glad to hear the flooding wasn't worse.
Yeah, it really, it could have been bad. And now people are like, oh, they're Crown Wolf and insert news agency here, always blah, blah, blah. No, let's have a dose of reality. If this was the worst case scenario, and we didn't warn people, thousands of people would have died. Okay? Yeah. Let's have some reality and where's your threshold for safety? Because for me, thousands of people dying when we could evacuate them is unacceptable.
Yeah, you can't predict how that water is going to flow once it starts flowing. There's no way to predict that.
And it's in such a remote region too. People were complaining, why isn't there a live camera? Well, have you ever driven Highway 20? There's no self-service from Williams Lake to Bella Coola. So how are they're gonna just, we're gonna run it. We got a couple of Starlink satellite dishes laying around. Let's just set one up. No, that's not how it works. Get with the program, people. Sorry, I'm angsty tonight because I was dealing with the car stuff.
Yeah, and it's a car thing.
Yep.
I had trouble moving to Saskatchewan and getting our cars, registered here too. So I feel your pain.
There's something about when you're walking, Hank, that makes that woof, woof, woof sound.
Oh, it's the Saskatchewan provincial bird, the mosquitoes.
They're good right now. They were so terrible about a week to 2 weeks ago. The mosquitoes are it's sunset, and they're not even bothering me. So thank goodness we finally get a break.
So dry and hot, they all just shriveled up and died. Now, Houck has returned, but we skipped over Justin from Weather Center in Manitoba. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go to Justin here for a minute, and then we're going to go to Houck for a long minute because we got some big things to talk about Alberta and beyond.
All right. So, good night, guys.
Good night, Mark. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on. Meteorologist Mark Engels.
All right. So in Manitoba, it's been relatively quiet. Since last week, we actually did end up getting some rainfall. In Brandon, Manitoba, where I live, we got about 0.4 of an inch of rain. So I thought we weren't going to get anything, and at least we got that little bit. So that helps out. Things have been pretty dry, as Hank just said, in our neighboring province there. It's pretty dry in Manitoba as well. I can see Hank can still be outside because it's still daylight there, but my daytime shots or my outside shots are done now because it's the sunset already. It's dark in Manitoba as we lose about an hour to an hour and a half of daylight here in August. But we were talking about heat earlier up across northern Canada, and that is true, but we've also had some record low temperatures this morning in Hank's province. Some of the records that were broken were North Battleford, Saskatchewan, got down to plus 1.5 at 5 this morning and broke their previous record of plus 4 in 2013. Regina was down to plus 2. They did not break a record, but that is still impressive. Saskatoon, plus 2.4 this morning, not a record broken. But we definitely had quite a few broken. Even Weyburn was down to 3.5, broke their record of 4.7 in 2019. And Swift Current was 5.6 and broke their previous record of 6.5 back in 2020. So it's kind of interesting. We got heat up north, and then we've had a strong high pressure system over the eastern prairies that brought those cold temperatures, those cold low temperatures last night, and Manitoba's turn overnight tonight. Not as cold, I don't think, but still we'll be seeing lows about plus 5 to plus 8 range. So Nice break from the heat that we had over the last couple of weeks. So be able to open up your windows and just enjoy a nice night. The other news I have to say or wanted to talk about was our space weather is heating up. The sun is getting active again. And we've had a moderate G2 geomagnetic watch in effect for this weekend. And that was before we had an X 1.3 solar flare that spewed off from the sun earlier this afternoon. So now that's really shaping up to be an active weekend for all you Northern Lights fans out there. So if you're lucky enough to have clear skies, you can definitely check out the Northern Lights beginning, I would say, Friday night and continuing possibly into Monday night. So that's what I have for you now. And thanks for having me again, everybody.
Yeah, it's always good to see you, Justin. Always good to see you. Now, let's switch gears over to Hauk.
The Brandon Hauk Report.
Oh, hi. This is the Brandon Hauk Report. Boom! There goes the dynamite.
Hauk, the Brandon Hauk Report. Late, but great.
Hold on, I don't choke on popcorn here. Late, but great. Yes.
Yeah.
I like that.
It was that cold? That was cold. I didn't know it was that cold.
Oh, that's good. Good stuff. Yes, on week off here, so sort of week off, I kind of worked a little bit on Monday because somebody has to cover the severe weather around here, especially when it gets that wild. On Monday night, we had a couple of rounds of severe weather here. We had severe weather late, I believe, for the first part of the weekend there. Couple strong severe thunderstorms. We had one little supercell just on the other side of the Bow River here that looked really, really good. Good structure. Then it started to shelf itself out there, and it went poof, gone, disappeared. But I was able to enjoy the beauty of that storm as it rolled over the Bow River into the county of Newell. Now Monday that got wild. So actually started off these storms in BC on the BC side of the border, and then one storm produced up to ping pong ball size hail in Lake Louise on Monday before it rolled its way.
Unbelievable.
I know. Yeah. Lake Louise getting ping pong ball size hail. Look out, tourists. So that was Monday afternoon in Lake Louise. And then we had this supercell really start to get its act together right at Benchlands there in the province of Alberta. And then it moved into Cochrane. Now, it had a really, really good-looking wall cloud to it, kind of a ground scraper wall cloud. So some people thought it was something else, but it wasn't. It was a big old-fashioned wall cloud that was floating down over the hills there near Cochrane, Alberta. And that storm started producing golf ball to tennis ball size hail as it moved through Cochrane into the north side of Calgary. And then the storm itself, hit the north side of Calgary, brought some big-time hail to the city there, up to hen egg size hail, and even did some damage to the Calgary International Airport where they had some parts of the roof coming down in a few terminals and water coming through. So that was, that was wild in Calgary there. North edge of the city. Well, we had another supercell on the south edge of the city up by through Okotoks, extending back towards High River there. That storm as well, producing some pretty large hail as it started to make its way towards the east. And then storms are moving quite quickly to the east there, and eventually we saw, supercell roll into Strathmore with golf ball size hail. And another supercell to the south. So then these two storms kind of merged together and rolled into areas around Mossley, Queenstown. Queenstown had up to baseball-sized hail on Monday. And then Mossley had up to tennis ball-sized hail. So it's a pretty big hail with these storms as they started to feast their eyes on me over here in the county of Newell. Now, the storm itself that was producing the very large hail decided to take a right turn and take a little book down to the south. And then eventually, we still got hit with that first storm with the thunder, the lightning. All right, this is how the lightning behaves tonight. Just like this. Yeah! There we go. That's how we do it. That That was good. That was awesome. So that was just as the storm was just getting a little bit closer as it moved into parts of the county there with the lightning show.
Storm
It
is
was
here.
just a non-stop lightning show.
Let's get
So
some
even though I
lightning
missed the
here.
hail core, still got the lightning, still got the thunder, and a pretty good torrential downpour, and the storm
heard
rolled
that
right
one.
over top of me. And my, oh my, what a show. That went on for an hour, that first storm. And it was bang, crash, bang, and
Nobody's
so
getting
good.
sleep tonight.
And then little did we know, then we were really focused on this storm as the hail core went south towards Rainier and eventually into Rolling Hills Reservoir, which was a campground there. So they took on a little bit of hail as well, a little bit of hail damage there. And then the storm moved its way towards just south of Tilly through Rolling Hills there. And then here comes storm number 2 on the back side of this thing. And then this one was moving at 60 kilometers an hour. This first storm was moving at 30 clicks an hour. The second one was moving 60 kilometers an hour with a bit of a bowing segment to it. So we had, especially areas near Tilly, took on some significant wind damage with this one, with wind gusts of 100 to 111 kilometers an hour. And plus, we also had, looks like reports of a semi-truck got blown off the road there, caught in the action there just after midnight there. And that, again, incredible lightning show on that powerful thunderstorm as it rolled its way through. So we had pretty much lightning nonstop from 10 p.m. to 1, just a little bit after 1 o'clock in the morning. And that was, I would say that was a wild night. And I'm really glad I didn't have to do a morning show the next morning, because when I usually get up for the morning show, it's 3 a.m. So yeah, I would have probably only got 1 hour of sleep. So good for me for taking this week off from doing the morning show. So I'd say that was perfect timing there. We actually had some cooler air. We even had a little bit of smoke in the last couple of days, thanks to our friends in Saskatchewan sending that over last couple of days there. That seems to have dissipated a bit there. And we had another thunderstorm yesterday afternoon. This one was a little weak, but put on a little bit of a show there. And what else I've been doing? I've been doing some bike trips. Went golfing today. Played horribly. Ended up in the trees again. And I guess Vin Diesel celebrating his birthday a couple weeks ago, and he celebrated with his brother Bio. So there you go. So that's joke of the day. And then I'll just move on to what's ahead for next week. And next week, we are going to be anticipating to see, once again, the heat starting to crank up a little bit. We do have a chance of storms on Monday. We'll keep an eye on that. And it looks like later in the week, we could see a return to some active weather in parts of the province of Alberta. And that's the latest on the Brandon Hauk Report.
The Brandon Hauk Report. So my question for you is, Calgary being a place that gets big hailstorms sometimes, what's the name of the brilliant engineer who thought a big public place like an airport should have big glass ceilings?
Well, it wasn't glass. I don't know if it was glass ceilings. It was what I saw was not glass coming down. It was wood, man.
Oh,
From the
I thought it was glass panels I heard that were being broken.
Oh no, this was I don't know what was being broken up top there, but it was, if in the videos there, it showed the like wood panelings coming crashing down, and water just coming. So it must be a leak in the roof or something.
I think it was that kind of ceiling that you can lift the tile, like the ceiling, like tile ceiling.
Yeah.
Whatever
Tile,
that's.
yeah.
Yeah. So it was impressive.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it was a combination of wind and hail doing it, possibly.
Maybe a little. Yeah,
That and bad engineering.
Yeah,
or that too.
it does sound that way.
Yeah, never underestimate the human element. Frankie, what do you think it was crashing from the ceiling at the Calgary airport?
Hailstones.
Yeah, not hot dogs. It was hailstones. Frankie,
And they had an earthquake somewhere in the world.
did you cause the earthquake in Japan this morning?
I did not cause an earthquake in Japan.
Frankie did not cause the earthquake in Japan. This just in. Anyone got questions for Frankie McDonald tonight?
There's a lot
It
of
sure
claims
sounds like
about Frank Dell causing earthquakes, causing tornadoes, things like this. Is not true. I did not cause them.
Frankie does not cause earthquakes or tornadoes, just fires.
I think not cause fires either.
No, the Nova Scotia
Frankie-
fires, you had nothing to do with that? That's what I heard.
Sure covered a whole lot of the world's weather, that's for sure. I don't think I heard anything about Greenland or Iceland. And other than that, maybe Antarctica.
Do not travel to Iceland.
No, Frankie covered Antarctica too. Very cold in Antarctica still.
Oh, okay. I missed that one.
Well,
And how many hours of darkness?
There's still 24 hours darkness in South Pole Station. Then it's going to start to get daylight there in the end of August, up so down below Antarctic Circle. Where Mike Post is at, that means more scientists will be hitting the Antarctic Research Station in Southern Hemisphere spring.
And Frankie did not cause the darkness in Antarctica either.
I do have a question for Frankie. Since it's hurricane season and it's really starting to heat up, what's the strongest hurricane you have seen, Frankie?
Fiona struck Sydney, Nova Scotia, September 23rd, 24th, 2022, knocked out power for a week plus a day. And the other Hurricane Matthew on Thanksgiving Day 2016 caused 224 millimeters of rain. That's two separate storms.
Yeah, we didn't hear from Frankie for a couple days there, and then he showed up at showtime. He found Wi-Fi, even when in the darkness of Sydney, Nova Scotia. Those are long. That was a lot of episodes ago. Helk, you got a question for Frankie this week?
Oh, yes.
Where's Imogen?
Imogen. She's off on a
Frankie's
project.
got questions for you, Helk. Where's Imogen?
Where's Imogen? She said she's off on a project tonight, so can't make the show. But next time.
Did you hear about this? I did a couple of my videos about Tropical Storm Debbie in Charleston, South Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
you did.
Savannah, Georgia.
And we're going to watch those right now. Are you ready, Frankie?
Yes, I'm ready.
The rain on Debbie.
I'm not getting hit by Debbie.
You're not?
Base guy is.
Okay.
Ready to go. Here we go. Frankie McDonald's.
This is Frankie McDonald, my own team station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Tropical Storm Debbie's headed towards South Carolina, including Charleston, South Carolina on Wednesday, August the 7th, 2024. It's going to bring up to 200 plus millimeters rain. It's going to bring a lot of flooding in Charleston, South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and surrounding areas. It's going to bring a lot of rain. Winds are going to be pretty strong. It's going to cause big waves crash on beaches, shores. That's going to cause a massive flooding in Charleston, South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, surrounding areas. It's going to bring a lot of rain. Winds are going to be really strong. That can knock out power, bring down power lines, and snap and tree branches in half. That's over 10 inches of rain in Charleston, South Carolina, and surrounding areas as well. Make sure you have your boats ready and start doing your grocery shopping. Do it right now for people living in Charleston, South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina as well. Order your pizzas, your Chinese food. Buy cases of Pepsi, buy cases of Coke. Make sure if your smartphone, cell phone, laptop, tablet, search, ever 3G, 4G, 5G, and LTE rate as well. Don't drive a car to the flood. Avoid the flood when you drive a car. Don't drive a car to the puddles either. If your flood gets really bad, head to the higher ground as you can for people living in Charleston, South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and the coastal areas of South Carolina as well. Make sure if your medical kits, emergency kits, flashlights, candles, break up radioactive batteries, generators, battery operating latches, and bottled water ready as well. If you have anybody living in Charleston, South Carolina, be prepared for Tropical Storm Debbie on Wednesday, August 7, 2024. Take care, stay safe. Don't get caught in Tropical Storm. Stay dry and be safe. This is Frankie McDonald, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Tropical Storm Debbie's headed towards Savannah, Georgia on Monday, August the 5th, 2024. It's going to bring 300 plus millimeters of rain or more in Savannah, Georgia, and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, in the coastal areas of Georgia and South Carolina. It's going to affect Jacksonville, Florida. It's going to bring a massive flood. It's going to bring mudslides, landslides. That storm is going to stop. That's going to bring a whole lot of rain in Savannah, Georgia, and the coastal areas, communities in the coastal areas of Georgia, including Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, surrounding areas. Is going to bring a whole lot of flood, and the sewers will back up in the streets in South Carolina, including Charleston, South Carolina, and the coastal areas of South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and the surrounding areas as well. It's going to bring a whole lot of rain and strong winds. There'll be big waves crashing on beaches. beaches, shores that could cause a massive flooding in Savannah, Georgia, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and the surrounding areas as well. People in Savannah, Georgia, be prepared. If your rubber boots, raincoats ready. When you go outside, rubber boots and raincoats to keep you dry. When the flood gets really bad, get to the higher ground. Don't drive the car to the flood. Don't drive the car to the puddles. Avoid the puddles and drive the car. Stay away from the flooded areas because it's going to bring so much rain in Savannah, Georgia, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and Jacksonville, Florida as well. For our people living in Savannah, Georgia, and the surrounding areas as well. It's going to bring a whole lot of rain, and it's going to be really windy. It's going to last for the next 2 days in Savannah, Georgia, and the surrounding areas as well. Before everybody living in Savannah, Georgia, have your boats ready. Make sure your smartphone, cell phones, laptops, tablets, have your mobile internet ready as well. Don't drive the car to the flood. Order your pizzas and Chinese food. Buy cases of Pepsi, buy cases of Coke. It's going to bring a whole lot of rain and massive flood in Savannah, Georgia, and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and surrounding areas as well, including Jacksonville, Florida. Stay away from the flood areas as you can. Head to the emergency shelters as you can. If you have everybody living in Savannah, Georgia, be prepared for it. Tropical Storm Debbie on Monday, August 5th, 2024. Take care, stay safe. Don't get caught in the Tropical Storm Debbie. Stay, drive, be safe. Don't drive the car to the flood. Avoid the flood when you drive the car. Don't drive the car to the puddles either. Don't drive the car to the puddles. Avoid the puddles when driving the car. Stay away from the flooded areas.
What'll happen to people who drive their cars through the floods?
That can wash away and things like this.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. Oh, look what's Hank. What do you got there, Hank? The sunset in Wilkie.
Until I finish back to facing me. Anyway, there, sun setting, and someone's watering their lawn, which is smart. We have not had much rain in the last 3 weeks, so there it is. And you can see that the air is still a little bit smoky. It's not bad, just a little bit.
That's crazy. The sun is crashing into Wilkie, Saskatchewan tonight, folks. Be prepared. Evacuate if you need to. The sun is landing right on Wilkie. This is a terrible situation. Those kids are running right towards it. They don't have no idea how much danger they're in. That's the sun. Look out. And
earlier, 2 blocks ago, I was smelling smoke of a different variety, more of a recreational variety of smoke.
Oh, someone's standing in the sprinkler.
For a second, that wasn't very brave.
No. No,
They know they're on television, do they?
Yeah, well, we can't see their faces, so we don't have to ask for permission.
Yeah.
No one can identify those humans. They're just 2 random high pixelated blurs that got wet that are going to get hit by the sun when it explodes in a second when it lands on Wilkie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as far as British Columbia goes, we got this thunderstorm pattern that's kicking off. I think Friday is going to see some pretty strong thunderstorms. There's a high chance, moderate, they say in the weather world, but that's high to what most of you would think of as high. High chance of thunderstorms in through South Chilcotin, down towards Lytton and Boston Barish, bouncing a little bit east of there. So high chance for thunderstorm activity there. Going to be a lot of dry lightning. Mark was saying that a red flag warning for wildfire behavior going right up to the Canadian border with the United States firefighting services there. So we got a situation where they're looking at more fire starts, right? What do I got here for you right here? I got some numbers that we could look at. For example, we got 18 new fires in the last 24 hours. That's already jumped up a little bit today. 77 are being held. 6 fires of note, so that's good. That's back down. We're looking at 136 out of control, 143 under control, that are still burning. So 362 fires currently active in British Columbia. Now, a week ago, we were looking at like 0 or 1 new fire start in the last 24 hours, right? So we're clearly coming into a drying trend, and that's continuing. And now we're getting a bunch of lightning coming consistently. We're going to see those. Oh, we just jumped up 19 new fires. So another one just reported. So Fires, as we get into the night, the more that number will probably climb a little bit higher. And each day we're going to see that number climbing a little bit higher. So I don't know. I'm not good at predicting how many fires there will be. People ask me, how many fires will there be after this? I don't know. But we're trending in a direction where 400 is unrealistic. And we've had that before in BC. So it's not, this isn't worst case scenario probably yet. But we got a lot of fire season left. A lot of fire season left to go. And we did have a lot of burning in Saskatchewan. We do have like a little bit of rain coming with some of these thunderstorms, but no, not really much, right? We're looking at a lot of lightning over the next little while. We look at daily thunderstorms in BC, just on GFS modeling. Like we're looking at southern BC, up into Vancouver Island, into the Rockies, all the way up the Coast Mountains into Terrace, up into the Babine, up to the Omanika, just by 2:00. And that, continuing like Saturday, another large showing of lightning starting in southern BC, places like the Kootenays and Okanagan and Fraser Canyon and places like that, going up the Rockies as they go in the afternoon, looking at thunderstorms every day for the next forecast period. Like by the time if we were to have a show next week, I don't know what's going to happen because I'll be probably very soon back out working. As you know, I fight wildfire for a living. And just home for a couple days right now on my break. But wherever I end up next, I probably will not have the ability to necessarily make episodes. So you get what you get at this time of year with me. Next week in the prairies too, big outbreak. Looking like Tuesday, Wednesday, going to have some real shows. Western Canada. Going to see a lot of new fire starts. In general, in that heat, really keeping on, not record-breaking heat for BC, I don't think next week, but warm days continue, right? Typical summer days that.
And La Nina is going to develop off the coast of Ecuador.
When, Frankie? When do you think?
Later on this year.
Yeah, there's a high chance, eh?
Yeah, and I just want to hop in here because I'm reading some of the comments, and someone was asking, do you guys think it'll be a longer, later warm season this year or average? And Frankie has a good point that La Nina is coming in for the fall, so that could help, decrease our warm season as La Nina comes into form, and we are expecting a colder winter here across our area here in Canada and across the northern U.S. So it's hard to say when it'll really take shape, but I think there's a chance that our warm season could be lessened this year.
So the other factor could be that, say, La Nina begins to take shape in September, and that does sort of abruptly end our summer, or maybe it starts to take place in November, December, but that doesn't necessarily mean that some Pacific frontal system, like we had kind of in July, won't at some point in September. We've had fire seasons just get stomped in early September by weather in the past, right?
Yeah.
I
agree. Yeah.
I can think of 2018 being out in the line in like the second week of September, and it was snowing on us, and we were all like, well, that's the season,
Yeah.
And
I would say it's, because it's more of an average, right? So, you think fall as a whole, we could trend a little cooler than average, but like you say, that doesn't mean we're not going to get a heat wave here and there. I think we're probably going to trend a little cooler than average, but definitely still watch out because it's been so dry this summer. Just because it's a little cooler, that's not alone going to stop fires at all. So
no, and those are all big ifs. I mean, right now I see nothing to indicate that we're looking at a major pattern change, and I felt that way even when we had that 10-day period where things were cooler and down, until the beginning of August started, where I didn't really feel like that was here to stay.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because it's like we've had record lows across the Eastern Prairies last night, but then, like you said, like you were just saying, that next week's going to warm up and could be some big storms on Tuesday and Wednesday again. So it changes really quick.
I'll go to Dean West's question next. Does high humidity make lightning more probable? And well, yes, that's the fuel for a thunderstorm, right? So if you got dry, dry conditions that are hot, and then you have humid air start to move into there, and if it's got something to help trigger that, I mean, there's your fuel to help make that storm possible. If you don't have that humidity somehow show up, you cannot have a storm. So even when we had the driest hot weather here, the day that the fires started in Wells, going back into early July, it was very low humidity all day. And then when that thunderstorm showed up, we were looking at 60%, 80%. It started sucking moisture from who knows where. It finds a way to live sometimes. But I mean, we don't have a lot to work with, which is why these storms aren't today that are happening in British Columbia aren't producing much for rain, right? We do have a number of storms going on. What looks like possible pyrocumulus in the Slocan Valley right now, but looking at northern BC more and under the Caribou, we have severe thunderstorm warnings going on right now. Storms by Burns Lake that looking really strong. Storms south of Fort St. James, sort of northwest of Vanderhoof that are quite strong. A lot of these storms are pretty small. Pings on radar because, as Brandon and I were talking earlier, they're not putting out a lot of rain, right? They're very localized, their rain. So the people looking at them say are reporting on weather watchers like the clouds have crazy structure. Everything looks really crazy. However, when you look at it on radar, it's just this tiny little nugget.
So I do have a question for all you guys. We all look at the models and model land. What if there's one model that's been most accurate so far this summer season? What would you guys say that is for you?
I mean, I don't tend to mess around with some of the. I mean, there's a lot of models, and once in a while I look at them. But I mean, I tend to just go GFS and ECMWF, and then I look at them under the assumption that this isn't perfectly what it's going to look like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's good for you to use those longer range models, right? Because I would say that you're like a weekly to 2 week kind of forecast. Like you do forecast short range too, but I think the GFS and the other kind of mid to longer range models would suit your needs a lot better than maybe the high rapid refresh or the NamNest, right?
Yeah, well, and the thing is, we can have very abrupt pattern changes in BC because of the Pacific, right?
Yeah, a lot different.
So it's like, when is this going to end, or when's the next one going to start? And give or take a day or two on either side. It's like, so we're looking at something next week. I mean, we're into this pattern now, but when I was kind of looking at when this pattern is going to start, I was like, it might be Thursday, it might be Friday. I mean, but actually, it seemed to be playing out exactly how it was suggested it would, more or less, right? But when you look at like exact locations of a storm on a model, it's like, well, take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I see in the comments 1 vote for the high rapid refresh. So there you go.
Yeah, Josh does like that one. Yeah.
I've seen some days where one model's a lot better, and other days a different model, and another days a third model. I haven't seen any consistency this summer.
I find like ECMWS a very safe one. I find it like, that's one thing I like about it. It's like, it's the safe bet in terms of like, it often is going to have elements of what all the other ones are saying.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't tend to give you extreme looking things.
No. It's been known as like the most accurate, probably mid to long range model.
It doesn't give you those extreme things that suddenly the next day aren't there when you look at the model again,
Yes, gives false snow with winter coming up.
Are you guys familiar with that future radar? That future radar that tells you what's going to be happening in 2-3 hours from now?
Yeah.
I found
not the weather.
I found in the early season, in spring and early summer, it was really helping me quite a bit, that thing. And then in midsummer, it was out to lunch again. So, it's usually out to lunch.
Is that it'll kind of take the movement of the storm over the last hour, and it'll just keep with that same exact movement over the next few hours. And we know with storms, they'll dive southeast, they'll move north, they'll go any direction. So you can't just go off, the direction the storm's been going, because as Brandon knows, the big supercell in Alberta, it dove southeast. So
yeah, Yeah, I had that same question. Somebody actually they screenshotted the radar that the future radar a couple days ago on Monday. And then they put it in my messenger there. Hey, is this true? Is it coming towards us in Dutchess? And I'm sitting there. I'm like, I don't think so. And no doubt it went southeast, took the turn to the southeast. They still got a pretty good thunder and lightning show out at Dutchess, but they didn't get the hail core and the everything else in between there. So
Well, there's
I'm not
conventional wisdom when you say like, "Hey, the storm's coming from the north or it's coming from the northeast." You're like, "Oh,
yeah.
there's a reason for that," and it's like a top spinning on its axis, kind of deviates this way and that, and kind of does what it wants, and that deviation could be 100 kilometers, but when you're looking at it, it's like, oh, it's coming right for us, and then by the time it's we've seen a few this year in BC that did what they want.
Oh yeah.
They went their own direction.
Yep, that happens in Manitoba lots. People from Brandon or other cities, oh, it's the Winnipeg bubble or it's the Portage bubble. The shield is up. It's missing us all the time.
Oh yeah, they do that here. There's it's always at Brandon's house, but it's never here in Brooks. We never get a storm here. It's always at Brandon's house way over there. Yeah, it is.
They say lucky Justin, Brandon, Manitoba stealing all the storms from Winnipeg.
Well, it's in a better place.
Yeah.
That southwest corner of Manitoba and southeast corner of Saskatchewan. That's hammer time area. That's can usually count on there being some pretty wicked thunderstorms there every year.
Yeah, we've been having the move southeast lots out of Manitoba down into the States, so they even missed me.
It's been a really down year in that area, though, this summer. Really down. Not much.
Yeah.
My area's been fairly active compared to normal, and most Saskatchewan chasers have been really complaining. I've had some luck.
Dean makes a good comment, too, in the comments about how the ECMWF is available in Windy. And one of the reasons why I like to use Windy when I make forecast videos is because everyone can go and look at it afterwards. If I only show something for 5-6 seconds, and it's like it's available to everybody. It's there, right? So, and it's in an understandable format for everybody too. So it's one reason I do tend to just go with it, even though I know that it doesn't look as cool as.
If you want to follow me, and if you want to follow me on social media, my blue sky is at Frankie MacD. My ex, formerly known as Twitter, is at Frankie MacD. My link tree is Frankie MacDonald. My Facebook is Frankie MacDonald. My Instagram is Frankie MacD 1984. My TikTok is Frankie 1984. My TikTok is Frankie 1984. My Clap is Frankie 1984. My Twitch is Frankie 1984. My Snapchat is Frankie MECD1. My YouTube channel, Stocks Wolves, and my LinkedIn is Frankie McDonald. Best luck to you. I'm Frankie McDonald. You're listening to Comedeorological Weather Report every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic.
That's right. You're hearing us on C4 88.7 FM in Prince George, CKUW 95.9 Winnipeg, and CFBX 92.5 Kamloops, plus Rogers television outlets on Vancouver Island. And even Vancouver Island is going to get some of that thunderstorm this week. So watch your hills. Fire season is on for you as well out there. So this week on the show, we had, of course, the star Frankie McDonald. We had Hank Fleister out there, storm chaser from Wilkie, Saskatchewan. We had Justin Ordle from the Weather Center in Manitoba and Brandon, Manitoba. And we had Brandon Hauk from Brooks, Alberta. He is Hauk with the Brandon Hauk Report.
The Haukmeister.
That's the show. At least that's the live stream might go a little longer, but that's
that means solar summer finally came to an end on August 7th. Meteorological summer ends on September 1st, and astronomical summer ends on September 22nd in Northern Hemisphere. That's the show.
That's the show.
That's the show.
Be prepared. And I got something else to say. I'm not getting hit by Debbie.
You're not?
Base guy is.
Okay.
And I got something else to say. And the sewers will back up in the streets in South Carolina. And I got something else to say. Don't drive a car to the flood before the flood when you drive a car. Don't drive a car to the puddles either. Don't drive a car to the puddles. Avoid the puddles when driving the car. Stay away from the flooded areas. And I got something else to say. Boom!
There goes the dynamite.
And I got something else to say. Do not travel to Iceland. If anybody lives in Iceland, be prepared for major volcano. Oh my God, in Japan. And I got something else to say. People in Vancouver, you can't escape from major earthquakes forever. I'm not getting hit by Debbie.
You're not?
Base guy is.
Okay.